Game 1. Going to TY. Wait, no. That's the wrong button. Why did they change colors? Why do you make my life so hard? What? Who thought it was a good idea that in the first game we have red and... Oh, well, here we go. Anyways. Wait, oh, what? Okay, I guess he's walling off the logo. Anyways, who thought Game 1, blue and red, very distinctive, you can tell the difference. Game 2, light blue and blue. Anyways, you guys know who they are. I don't need to introduce them every game. It's not hard to figure out. Is this teal or light blue? This is definitely light blue. This is not teal. It's not even cayenne or cyan, which I think is pronounced cyan. Let's see what Google says. Now that I got that in my head. Google, obviously well known for... All right.
Cyan.
I knew it! But anyways. TY expanding on the logo on a biogenesis, the smallest map in the pool. Got gas on the way here. For solar, he did go for the pool first. Yep, right? Yes. He went for the pool first. Otherwise, the hatchery would be done as the queen is producing. But TY sticking to his guns here. Just going for the same thing. In fact, walling off the low ground, which is arguably more vulnerable. Of course, if it's not a Ravager push or something like that, and you can preempt a wall off by just getting this barracks and this factory, then fine. Alright, Reaper. Tapping on the queen, realizes it's a pool. Well, he realized it was a pool first when he scouted the hatch. Of course, he knows the timings. But now confirming and seeing the queen coming down. It's going to be Hellions again. TY has his build, he's sticking to it. I'll be interested to see, does he add on 2 barracks before 3rd command center again? Or are we going to see a quick 3rd CC? Now, of course, the starport is a big part of it. Okay. The wall is reconstructed. The pieces are traded out. 3rd base coming down, the Lings to protect it from a Reaper, but the Reaper not over there quite yet. So what are you going to do, TY? You're on the run. You're on the chase. The Lings took a bad path, and it looks like the Reaper just going to be able to boost its way forward. A little bit of micro as well, but the Hellions are out. Solar, of course, knows this. 1, he had an Overlord. 2, he's not dumb. He's played this game before. A tech lab being built on the starport. Is he actually going to use it? Overlord speed done. Solar crossing his T's, dotting his I's, and researching his pneumatized carapace to confirm that there is indeed a starport. And get an idea of what's coming out of it. Stim already on the way. Did Solar see the tech lab? And he sees it upgrading, so. He knows TY is probably committing to bio. And there's nothing to stop this Overlord. Especially if you build a Raven first. So Solar last game didn't respond to the information he was given very well. I think Solar just kind of didn't really think about it and didn't realize there wasn't a 3rd base and TY was going to be hitting and doing damage almost a minute more quickly than that usual 2 medevac follow-up push. This game, a 3rd base is confirmed. Solar can breathe a little easier when it comes to the drone count. Going up to 60 drones is a lot easier if your opponent has invested 400 minerals in a command center before adding on production. We see 1 barracks being added on a reactor here. He's building tanks. This map, there are definitely some locations tanks underneath this lip, this cliff here, can hit the hatchery on the left side. Of course, there are plenty of high ground areas and cliffs to use on the right side. The Raven gonna help deny the creep spread, and later on, anti-armor missile is pretty goddamn good. The Ovi who lived. But now this push will hit a little bit later. Solar going up 55 drones now, it looks like. His lair, identical build, nearly identical build to the last game. For Solar, or identical style. There are probably some details a little bit different. But getting around 60 drones, and then some. A later lair, upgrades first. Will he use the anti-armor missile? The thing is, it also affects your own unit, so it's really hard to use in this scenario. Alright. 2 medevacs on the way, yeah. I'm glad he didn't use it because more than likely saving it, especially against the queens, saving the anti-armor missile for this next push with marines and tanks, that anti-armor are going to be incredible. A Hydralisk Den, so we're going to be going for that really heavy ground-based composition that can just roll over a Bio-Terran who's not ready for it. $67 drones, 56 SCVs. Both these players... Now, Solar definitely on better footing than last game because TY has gone for the most economic opening. Solar has almost all the drones he'll need in order to just continue pumping out lair tech units. If he wants to do that and be able to tech up towards maybe a hive, then yeah, you need 75, 76 drones to comfortably do it. But 67 going for Hydra Bane. This is a fighting army. Oh. And some units being caught out over here. Most of them out on the map, so he's able to cut off the reinforcements. SCVs are falling, as well as cutting off the front of the army. Solar on the aggressive front. It seems this third command center not paying off for TY. An armory building as part of the wall. TY always making moves like that, always thinking a few steps ahead. And yes, I'm reading way too much into building an armory as part of your wall. But TY is one of the players who's... Sometimes he overthinks himself a little bit. And Solar just taking a little bit of advantage of that as well. He cuts off the reinforcements. TY leaves him a little bit further out. Doesn't think a huge group of Lings is going to come in. And then all the wind is taken out of his push here. The sails of the push. If the push had sails, then the wind would have been taken out of those sails. You know where I was going with that. Because he had to come back to defend, which gave Solar time to finish group spawns, finish half a dozen Hydras and more, get Baneling speed, start his 2-2. Anti-armor missile connects, but if he can't capitalize on it. Oh my god, those Hydras die so insanely fast. He definitely overestimated how good that anti-armor missile was going to be for him in that fight. The Hydras still do full damage. Two medevacs on the left. I'm honestly not sure if they got cleaned up. It looks like they took some damage, but were there any units in them in the first place? I don't think so. He didn't have enough supply to put 2 in there. If all the units got cleaned up and his medevacs only took that much damage, that's kind of weird as well. But great targeting there. The Raven in kind of an odd situation. Anti-armor missile connects on some of these units. Not enough, though. Target on one Bane, target on the other one, but he's backed into a corner. Where's the boost? Okay, he boosts into the main. At the same time, TY on the right flank. Hitting on the left, hitting on the right. Sees nothing in the main. Solar is teching up. He's got a Spire. He's got a Hive on the way. He's got 2-2 in the mail. Muscular Augment's not quite done, making it a little harder to get to the right side and defend his 4th base. Retaking it immediately. Has to be targeted down again. Cancels again. Restarts the base. TY deflected on the left as well. But he's putting pressure on, buying space and buying time to put together an army for this 2-2 timing. +2 infantry weapons and armor about to complete. TY with 83 to 82 army supply. Cancels the... And this isn't the 4th base. I can't count. It's the 5th. But still in this top right corner, he drags the army to the left. tries to target down the Lings and Banes, but a couple Banes connect and force the pickup on the left side. No Hydras to pursue, so he's not going to be able to snipe off the medevacs. Solar has spread creep over half the map. TY just now going for a fourth, but it looks like Solar going to be able to get his fifth base up and have Hive Tech. Now that's not a wall. Some auto turrets come in to support. Some Marines on the high ground. It looks like Solar wants to bring the hammer down on TY's fourth base, and he needs access to this if he wants the economy to build these anti-Hive Tech units. We're talking Ghosts, we're talking Liberators. The main base starting to dry up here. The Ghost Academies, multiple Ghost Academies, you know what that means, but if you don't, that means nuclear missiles. A drone getting targeted down. He sees a lot of the army is tied up in this top right location. Will TY try to take advantage of it at all? Lings and Banes being shut down. Adrenal Glands is only halfway done. 3-3 has not begun for Solar, but it hasn't begun for TY either. He's going to start it right now. Overrated upgrades for both sides. I would have looked really smart if that happened. The tanks holding onto the high ground. Despite how small the map is, all this high-low ground action makes it pretty abusive for siege tanks. The Vipers are going to be needed to be able to deal with this any sort of efficiently. A planetary is completed on the right side. Some depots, well, mostly AI blocking depots. A few more queens still exist. Anti-armor missile coats half the army. This Marine in an interesting scenario. Some drops coming out. Units being split off to deal with this. No Hydras, though. TY still moving wherever there isn't creep. He's doing his best to drive it back, and he still has a Raven. I don't know if that's 2 Ravens now. He's not adding any more on. I think that's still the original Raven. But the pickup yanked all the way back home, and the Hydras knock it down, but there's a drop in the main. Some damage was done. 14 workers have been killed thus far, but still 86 drones on the map. A very high economy Terran. An Evo chamber being targeted down, but will not fall. 3-3, well, +1 rain, +1 missile attacks, and +3 armor on the way. Still not a hard wall over here. It's gonna be Broodlords, but the smaller the map, if you can actually... The weakness of Broodlords is their movement speed and just how long it takes. It takes longer to get Broodlords than to get Ultralisks. But if you're on a smaller map, the Broodlords, if you can get there, and it looks like Solar's gonna get there, are quite effective because they don't have to move so dramatically far between defense and offense. The weakness is if you have 8-9 Broodlords and they're halfway across the map and 4 drops end up in your main base, you can't use them to defend. But on this map, the Broodlords could be very effective. That Widow Mine could have been devastating to Zerglings, which don't matter that much, but still. TY trying to take a 5th, but Solar has an issue with that. A big attack coming in on both sides. Not the entire army for TY is committed. All his medevacs are stuck over here. The pickup, the lift, but I have the sneaking suspicion that command center won't make it home. The cloak. We see a snipe laid down on the 1 overseer, but it takes 2. The other snipes disconnect. Tank still shelling. The 4th base locked down for TY, but that 5th will be knocked away. 2 nuclear missiles are coming up. Some creep at the front. TY's close to maxed out. Solar is maxed out, and he only has 66 drones. I don't know if he lost some or he traded them out for spore crawlers and the like. Probably a bit of both. But that means his army supply 128. That's deadly. The Broodlords and Infestor has joined the party. Plenty of Vipers. A scan comes out. The key Infestor picked off there. A nuclear missile on the right side. Will Solar back away? Some changelings come out. The scans. He sees nothing there. He sees nothing there. And he checks all his bases. He skims through. The nuke will land. He delayed mining time, but that's not a huge deal unless the drones stay idle there for a while. A drop on the left. Still, it's difficult to split off units if a drop hits you at the wrong place at the wrong time. That can be the beginning of your army falling apart. This drop will be cleaned up. TY trying to take control of the center of the map, even though it's contested by Broodlords, Infestors, Vipers. TY does not have enough here to survive a straight-up fight. Where are the ghosts? There are 9 ghosts. They move up to the front. They're all out of energy. I think he left them cloaked for way too long. A pretty big mistake out of TY. They don't have any steady shots, also known as snipe. But for those who just in case you guys didn't know, the change to snipe a while ago. It does a lot more damage, but it takes a little while to lock on. And if any damage is taken by the ghosts, it disturbs their shot. They do get the energy back, but the shot does not connect. So you can't just throw ghosts into the fray. They need to be behind units. They need to be in a good position to be able to get those shots off. The drop actually another drop, maybe the first drop, who knows, actually connects and kills the base on the left side. Another double drop continuing to move out as TY is using these drops to pull Solar out of position in order to gain control of the middle of the map. He's trying to catch the Broodlords off guard. That is the objective now. The Broodlords are essentially the final boss at the moment. And if TY can't eventually beat them, if they start bearing down on him and he has nothing else to draw Solar away, the Broodlord Infestor is one of the most cost-effective armies in the game. They have Queens to heal. The Infestors hold everything down. Vipers for Blinding Cloud, Abduct, and Parasitic Bomb. A little bit of everything. But the drop in the main. He's targeting the Hive. Kind of targeting the Hive. More Banelings rolling up. Beautiful split. The Banelings don't do enough. More units have to come back. The Broodlords are exposed when these Hydras, Lings, and Banes move. The Hive, another drop on the right side. Some Lings come up. It's knocked down. A nuke on the right as well. This nuke will kill the hatchery. He's not bringing the spines up. Just because he has a spore doesn't mean he can see the ghost. He's going to finish off the hatch with a nuke while there's a drop in the third. There it goes. This drop is cleaned up, but he's doing what he needs to do. He's drawing him back. The Broodlords, just queens and broods. He can take those out. 1, 2, 3 on the snipes. That's all the detection. TY is accomplishing his goal. He brought the main army away. More snipes come out. They don't do quite enough damage to kill a queen. This drop brought back some more Lings. This base is down, and that's the thing about a biogenesis. There aren't that many bases to work with. TY has secured not only a 5th, but also a 6th base as well. Well, close enough. Another scan. TY, does he fight? Is he going to give up these bases? He's starting to mine out, but does he give up these bases? Are we base trading? How many ghosts are there? There are 9 ghosts. He's building up the Ravens. He wants the energy. The Ravens eventually, he's giving up these bases. He's saying this. He has accepted a trade, and Solar has no choice but to accept his offer right now. Those Broodlords cannot come back home. The map might be small, but it's not small enough. He can't defend and attack at the same time. Solar is coming back, but he's going to lose all of his mining bases. TY is picking him apart. He's been all over. The nukes finished off the right. The drops brought him back on the left. He forced Solar to commit. And now Solar has no mining. TY can just drop another round of mules and get some spot mining. But Solar still has 121 army supply. There's a lot of Ravens. It comes down. That's still so many Broodlords. 12 Broodlords. Oh. They have 1/1 upgrades. Takes down the rocks. He isolates this base. TY is building / landing more command centers. It's a death ball. He has to do damage with this. That's enough oh god. The anti-armor missiles on the ground, on the broods, coating the entire army. Another one comes out. Another one. Another one. Another one. The transfuses keep most of the broods alive. The Ravens are out, mostly out of energy. But they take out some broods. They take out some of the extraneous Lings and Banes. This planetary's down for the count. Another scan. There is detection. If he can snipe that Overseer... Okay, there are 3 with it. He doesn't want to risk it. Another drop on the left side. It's drop o'clock in TY's house right now. Solar can't get a base. And this time, he can't go home. He has to go forward. He has no minerals. He's bleeding supply. The Ravens are regaining energy. It's time to go forward because there's no home to go back to. Most of the Ravens have an anti-armor missile online. EMP is dangerous. Snipe is dangerous. Some fungals interrupt the steady shots. TY has to hold. The natural is burning. A drop is working through the rest of the building Solar actually has, which is becoming less and less. The snipes come out, but the Broodlords continue to move. Scrambler missiles onto the Vipers. Keep them from casting their spells. Those don't last forever. An anti-armor missile hits the Queens. This is happening. The Marauders just kind of don't care. Another base. TY, the refugee Terran. Must fly. But are there any corruptors? Okay, wait a second. There are no corruptors. I'm not saying this is happening. There's still huge armies, but TY could float all his buildings, and Solar doesn't have the units to actually stop him. I'm just saying if it comes to that. But the Ravens... Solar's army just seems to be gone. Oh my god, the anti-armor missiles on their own! Enough to kill the Broods. The missiles connect! And TY's tactical Ravens, he held on. He bought so much time. He just kept bringing it back and back. And Solar wanted to go forward. He needed to go forward. But TY brought him back, brought his attention back home over and over and over and over again until it was too late.
At Winter Gaming, thank you for the great content.
You know you...
Happy 420.
Blaze it like a Brood Lord hit by an anti-armor missile. Let's go.